Happy New Year 2026, crafty friends. Today I have 4 super cute and fun cards using Hero Art's brand new Packed with Love release that is live today. These were so much fun to put together and I can't wait to share them with you. So, hey everyone, it's Joy here and welcome to my channel. Okay, I am starting with my background. This is the wide stripe stamp set. So you can see I'm placing my cardstock on the stripe and then flipping my MISTI over. And I have a little bit of tape runner on the bottom of my MISTI because I want that to grab onto the cardstock. This I found was the best way to make sure that my stripes were going to be straight on my piece of cardstock. I'm just using a white cardstock, Nina 110-pound cardstock. I am using an Archival ink. This is Pebble Beach from Ranger. I'm going to ink this up a few times, but I am on purpose wanting this to feel quite distressed and not a perfect stripe. I want it to feel old. These are going to be the backgrounds. I'm creating 4 different colored backgrounds with this same stamp set. Then I'm going to use Salvaged Patina Distress Oxide ink. I want these cards to have a nautical feel to them. Again, this is called the Packed with Love release, and you guys, it is so cute. It's around sardines. It is hilarious, but I love it so much. So this is on the white cardstock, of course. Again, these are all A2 size card bases. Then I'm going to do 2 cards on craft cardstock. And then again, I'm just making sure that it is lined up straight once I get it on that grid in my MISTI. I am using Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide ink. And I think I don't even re-ink this. We'll see. No, I do. I think I re-ink it one more time, or I just stamp it one more time or close the lid. And that background is perfect. And then I am going to do for the last one, Lumberjack Plaid. And then I can set these aside. And how cute are these backgrounds? Then we're going to get to the fun stuff. Now this video is longer, so I have everything sped up. It's about a 19-minute video, but I made 4 cards. Okay, then you have, this is the Glad We're Tight Letterpress and Foil set. I am just going to be foiling. So this is a sentiment here. And this one says, "You're quite the catch." There's 3 sentiments. There's a couple fish and a couple designs. And I'm going to do one saying collection or sentiment saying collection. I don't even know what that means. And then 2 of the backgrounds. I'm not going to use the fish in this because I also have dies and stamps. I have die cut these little pieces here are from Fog cardstock, and I die cut it. This is the centerpiece to what's going to be our little tin can of fish. And I am using a matte gold foil for my foiling. So this inside piece is from the Big Mouth Sardine tin die, and I'll be showing that to you here in just a little bit, but this is the inside piece. And so I just want to get these foiled and out of the way. So I'm just going to trim off my piece, and the pretty side of the foil touches the plate, the decorative side of the plate, and I have a little hinge on there. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. The reason why I put a hinge on there is if I don't get a good foil, I can just add another piece of foil and then my plate will lay down exactly where it was before. I don't have to start over or try to line it up because it's just not going to happen. Here's one of the decorative backgrounds, and you can mix this background and the next one that I'm going to do on the same piece. I just didn't do it that way. Or you could just use ink because this is a Letterpress plate as well, so you don't just have to foil. You can just ink this and stamp this up, and there is guides that come with it. I'm going to do my sentiments. I have the well-preserved stamp set, and it has coordinating dies, and I'm just kind of going through each one of the cards on what color I'm going to do. I am using I guess it's either going to be Uncharted Mariner or Lumberjack Plaid. I just was looking at each card. My brain was a little bit tired. And so I had to look at each one and go, what color do I want to do you in? And that's just kind of how I went about it with my sentiments. One of the cards is going to have a little frame around it that's from that stamp set, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But these sentiments are funny. Look at that. Officially old. How funny is that? I think it's so cute. At first, when I saw these products, I was like, they're cute. I don't know. Am I going to be able to make something like cute with it? Like me? It's a me thing. I love how these cards turned out. Even my husband was like, these are really fun. I mean, he's always a big fan of my stuff, but he was like, these are actually really, really fun. And I had a good time making these. I did have to stamp a couple more sentiments, but I did that off camera. Then we have this little crown. I'm going to ink that up twice with the Uncharted Mariner. And all of this has coordinating dies, and I have everything listed and linked for you guys below in the description. Then we have this large fish. Again, this is all from that well-preserved stamp set. And then there's a couple little fish. And I'm just going to keep these colors the same. So I've got red, blue. I do bring in kind of a coral color with cardstock and with worn lipstick Distress Oxide ink, which is where I'm going to get this little fish here. I just thought that's a fun color to bring in. Then here is this little edge piece, and you would stamp it twice, die cut it twice, of course, and then it goes around the edge of our little sardines, which is just so cute. What a funny stamp set, but I love it, you guys. And then I'm prepping my anti-static powder tool at the top. I'm going to do some gold embossing because one of my cards, I did not do any gold foiling. So this little circle, it says holy mackerel. I'm going to do gold heat embossing. I did an extra one just in case I wanted to use it, but I don't end up using it. But that will give me a little bit of gold on one of my other cards, and you'll see that here in just a little bit. Definitely hang out with me to the end because you're going to want to see how these cards come together. They are so cute, you guys. So, so cute. If you think that you wouldn't want this, you're going to want these products because they're darling. They were really, I was having a lot of fun doing these. Okay, I trimmed down my backgrounds a little bit smaller than an A2 size. I'm taking my scissors and just roughing up the edges. I want it to feel a tiny bit distressed. Nothing crazy, but a little bit worn from the beach, from the salt air and the ocean. And that was kind of the feel I was going for. I am also going to do a little bit of splatter on the background of these. I'm going to use a white luster marker for these two. And I'm not going to go super crazy with the splatter. I'm just going to get it in some areas. I want enough though that it feels old. And then for the two with the white background, I am going to use Uncharted Mariner and just the ink and some water and a paintbrush. And I'm going to splatter those two just a little bit. The white, it wouldn't show up good enough, so I wasn't going to do that. So I'm going to get, and some of these big drops are a little bit bigger, so I didn't do as much as the white because those were tinier drops. But anyways, cute background. Okay, here is that big mouth sardine tin. This also has something that was previously released that you could make an interactive card. But I don't have that, so I'm not doing that. The waves are from the Making Waves die. There's 3 waves, but I'm just going to use one. So I'm going to show you. Here is the frame piece. I die cut that out twice, once from a silver mirror cardstock and once from that fog cardstock. I want to glue these 2 pieces together because I want that to stand up a little bit taller than my inside piece, if that makes sense. The inside's going to kind of inlay. I'm going to line up this little wave at the bottom here, and there is that darling little boat and anchor die cut. I die cut from red and craft cardstock. You have the little opener that I cut from silver mirror cardstock, the same as the frame, so you can open up your can. Then you have your sentiments. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's so cute. So here's this cute little wave. I'm going to tuck my red boat kind of behind that, and we're going to kind of get our sayings in here, our sentiments. I had to stamp another sentiment for this. No, I didn't. That's not this one. But this says, officially old, to my nearest and dearest, it says at the bottom. My husband said, you better not give this to me. It's so funny. He's not old. He's only 47. But yeah. How cute is that? Oh my gosh, it is so darling. So I laid everything out, but then I realized I have to adhere this together. Now, I made it a little more complicated right here, but as I go along, I get better. I want those two pieces to glue together. So at first I decided to just take some low tack tape and just tape that in a couple spots. I can flip it over. I'm going to use 1mm foam adhesive, and I'm going to let it just hang over slightly to where it catches the frame and the inside. Eventually I get smarter and I don't add the little tape. I just do this part, and you'll see that here in a little bit. And I'm going to trim that off. And then everything just kind of holds together nicely. And this will be adhered to, of course, your background, and it's not going to go anywhere. So let me get that. First, I'm going to glue everything on. I decided before I'm going to adhere that to my background, just in case something bad happened. I would not have to recreate the background either. So foam adhesive behind the sentiments. And I'm going to place that at the top. How cute is that? Wait till this whole thing comes together, you guys. They're so darling. Then I'm going to tuck my boat underneath, and then I have the anchor that I'm going to place down, and I'm going to just place my sentiment a little bit over both of them at the bottom. And then we have that cute little seal. It looks like it says holy mackerel, and it has two little fish inside. I thought that was really, really cute. There's also a mermaid on the stamp set, but that's not something that I used. There's a couple little stars, and I'm trying to think. I think there might be some other little images. Let's place that sentiment down there. Again, that says to my nearest and dearest, and then a little bit of 1mm. So I'm kind of going between 1mm and 2mm foam adhesive. The sentiments are 2mm. Other parts are 1mm. Here's that little opener that just pops your can of sardines open. How cute is that, you guys? Oh my goodness, I love it. And I really love that wide stripe stamp. That is good for anything, but of course I was creating nautical, so that's why I did what I did. Okay, let's go on to our next one. This one I don't have to show how to put those frames together. I already glued that together. It's the third and fourth one I got wise with the foam adhesive. But again, I just used tape to tape that in place to make sure everything was good. Let me get a couple strips here. I did make these a little bit smaller, and then I did a couple pieces at the end. And then I can get this together. So this cute one I have die cut from some colored cardstock. One of them is chiffon. The other two I cannot remember the names. I'm so sorry, but I will have that listed for you guys below. The sentiment here says, birthday fishes, you're so well preserved. Isn't that funny? I love little puns like that. I think it's so cute. And this one has that foiled background. And again, I used gold or matte gold foil. I'm going to move this down actually in a minute, but I'm going to line up 3 of these fish right in the center. This is from the Big Mouth Sardine tin. This is the dies from that. There's different size fish from that. These are just the small ones, but I think there's like 5 or 6 fish. So you get a lot in that die set. So I'm going to I'm adding the adhesive where it touches the eye because I didn't poke out the eye. You could, but I did not do that. So I'm going to start in the center, placing that one there. I'm going to move up that sentiment. I end up moving the other one down just a little bit. So good thing I didn't press down really hard, right? And then let's bring in those other guys and just line those up. You could just, this whole background, there's so many components here that you can just make these look so cute. And how cute would these be with tags? I mean, just as tags, they would be so cute. I'm just saying I had so much fun making these, more fun than I thought. A little piece was coming up there, so I'm going to adhere that. I thought it'd be fun to kind of put this one on an angle. And then that one is done. Let's move on to our third one. How cute. This is where I get smart. I'm like, I don't need that tape. I'm just going to let this hang off the edge the tiniest bit. So when I put the frame on it, it'll catch it. So I'm going to do that on the sides and the 2 end pieces. And actually this went easier and better. So then when I flip this over, I can just lay that down and it's going to adhere perfectly. Okay, this one, the sentiment says, and I foiled the background of this one. This one says party tonight, so TIN-NITE. And it says, you're so well preserved. I put that on the bottom. And I've got two of the little fish from the stamp set, from the well preserved stamp set. These guys are going to wear the little crowns. I just thought those would be a lot of fun. So of course, 2mm foam adhesive behind the sentiments and 1mm behind the cute little fish. And I inked those in Salvaged Patina and Worn Lipstick. And I'm going to place those down, and then I do have to move these too. I probably should have done the fish first because it's a little tight. They're packed in a little tight. Which there's some sentiment that's similar to that, like glad we're so tight or something like that on the glad we're tight. There you go. It says that. Better press and foil set. So funny little sentiments. Let's get the little crowns on really quick here. Let me get this other one on. And then this is where I'm like, I need to move that sentiment up. So I just moved that up just the tiniest bit. And we're almost done, you guys. Thanks for hanging in there. I hope everyone had a good New Year's Eve. Okay, let me move those down. Sorry, guys. Sometimes you just have to adjust things to get it right. And then I'm going to adhere this a little bit on a tilt as well on this background. And then we will finish up our last one. Our last one, we did not foil a frame around it, but this is the one that we stamped from the well-preserved stamp set. So I'm going to, of course, adhere the little frame first. This way is so much better, you guys. Fast and easy. Let's flip that over and put that in place. And this one says, you're quite the catch. Really cute. And here is that little border that I stamped in Worn Lipstick. So there's one, and then the other one's just going to meet around. And then we have that bigger fish that I stamped with Salvaged Patina. I'm going to pop that fish up with 2mm foam adhesive. Excuse me. And I'm going to place that right in the center. I'm still getting over being sick, you guys. I got sick December 1st, and I still have been sick. I just this week I've actually been able to work like normal. It has just kicked my butt for sure. Okay, let's place this one. And then we can take a look at these up close. Look at how darling this is. Again, this is the Hero Arts Packed with Love release. I love these. I love the sentiments, all the little images for these little cans of sardines. They're so cute. And of course, that wide stripe background, giving it that nautical feel. I just love all four of these cards, and they were so much fun to make. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed these projects. I hope you feel inspired by them. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thumbs up and comment. I do love to chat with you guys, and I'll be back soon with another video. See you then.